All right, good morning, class. Hope all you guys are doing well. My apologies. I've been under the radar the past day and a half. I've been having some internet connection issues. So I'm going to upload this video to the Google Classrooms today. That's a picture of my front door, by the way. All right. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I'm still waiting for some assignments from some of you. And some of you have been turning in some really good work, which I'm very proud of you guys. So please keep up the good effort. Let's keep pushing until the end of the month, okay? All right. Before we get into the budget exercise, we're obviously going to continue with our budget activity. I want you to just briefly look at this. We're going to be talking about percentages in our budget. So this whole piece of paper that I've got in front of me is going to help you a lot to complete your assignment. All right, so remember from math that when we talk about percentages, a percentage is nothing more than a part of something. For example, if you eat you have a pizza, right, with 8 slices, and if you eat 4 pieces of pizza or 4 slices, then how much of the pizza have you eaten? Well, you've eaten half, obviously. All right. Now let's convert that to a percentage. Well, 1/2 means 50% or half. And a percent is, which I'm sure, I hope all you guys know this, is that this is the percent symbol, okay, which represents that portion or part. Okay, so we have, in our first one here, we have 10% of 100. Percent simply means a part of or portion of a number. So let's suppose if you have $100 and you spent $10, you would have spent 10% of the total. How to figure out percentages is very, very simple. For example, so let's suppose we're going to take 10% of 65. And what we're going to do is you simply take 65 and you're going to move the decimal over 1 to the left to give you 6.5. Okay? So if you, let's suppose you have $65 and you said, okay, I want to spend only 10% of 65, how much did you actually spend? Well, let's assume we got a decimal point at the end of 65, and we're going to move it to the left just a little bit over 1 to give me 6.5, or in this case, $6.50. Now let's look at number 2. All right, suppose you wanted to find out what 20% of 100 is. Okay, well, that's really simple too. All you have to do is, you know that 10% of a number is simply moving the decimal point over 1. So if you have 20%, well, what's 20% of, or I should say, what is 20% compared to 10%? Well, 20 is twice the value of 10. So if you have 20%, which is double the amount, then that means that 20% means that it is twice or double that number. So in this case, we have 20% of 100, and that is simply 10 times 2, or 20. Here's another example. What is 20% of 80? Suppose you take 10% of 80, move decimal to the left, 1 space, don't forget that, and you come up with what number? You got it. You come up with 8. All right. So let's take twice of 8. What is 8 times 2? 16. So to answer the question, when we ask what's 20% of 80, 20% of 80 is simply 16. All right. 10% of 80 is 8 times 2 gives me 16. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky for our budget. Suppose we want to increase a number by a certain percentage. Well, we don't know exactly just yet what that number is, but we know that if we're going to take 20% of 100 and we're going to increase it by 20%, all right, well, let's see what we're actually doing here. It basically means that you're going to want to add the percentage value or portion of the number to the original number. Find out what the portion number is. In this case, it's going to be 20, and then add it to the 100. How did you get 20? Well, what's 10% of 100? Move the decimal over to the left to give you 10. Multiply it by 2, because 20 is twice 10, to give you 20. And then you're going to take 20 and add it back to the original 100 to give you 120. And that, folks, is all you really have to know about percentages when you're dealing with budget increases and decreases, at least for now. Okay? All right, so let's go to our spreadsheet. Up here, I've renamed the spreadsheet operating expenses, so that's what you should have from Google Classrooms. Okay? Now, down here, if you look on your the one from last week, you had 1 week. Now what's this doing down here? What did I do? Well, I added another week. All right. So the way Excel spreadsheet works, guys, is that you have a file here called operating expenses, or that I named it, but you can add so many different tabs. Okay, you can add a bunch of different budget spreadsheets based on time. Okay, remember, guys, you're a lemonade stand. You want to be in business, but you don't want to be in business just for 1 week. You want to be in business for many weeks to come, as long as you can continue to make money, right? So let's suppose after 1 week you've been very successful, and you decide, hey, I want to open up another lemonade stand. I'm making money left and right, so I want to expand my business. All right, so how are you going to do that? Or you want to expand your business, but you got to come up with a new budget. All right, so why do we have to create another budget for week 2? Well, to answer that, guys, is if we want to know if a budget is just a projection, okay, it's just a plan, well, then what's the best information to have when we create a new budget? Well, I would think using a previous week's budget, using all this information, would certainly help us make our decision making. There's that word again for our class, decision making. We can use that information to create a budget for our second week. So let's go up here in our directions. All right, and it says here, on the week 2 budget spreadsheet, think of 3 new operating expense categories into the blue fields in addition to the ones, and insert them in the blue fields. Okay. All right, so let's scroll down and go to week 1. Okay, or actually week 2. All right, and you're going to see here, oops, it didn't work out. All right. You are going to, wait, hold on. I'm going to go to week 2, and you're going to, let's see, insert 3 new, insert table rows. Don't worry what I'm doing here. Okay, let's add 1 more. All right, 1, 2, 3. Go up to filler, and I want light blue. Actually, let's change that color. Something a little bit lighter. There we go. All right. Let's make sure I'm doing this right. 70. Awesome. Okay, it worked. Okay. All right, so let's continue. All right, so you're going to come back up, and you're going to add 3 new budget categories. So right off the bat, you're going to add 3 more categories of materials that you think that you would need for your budget in the second week. So let's suppose, for example, the first week, you're like, oh man, I wish I bought I wish I bought additional chairs. Okay, let's suppose chairs was something that you wish you had for your customers to sit at your lemonade stand. All right, so you can add that as part, you can add that into this cell, and you just simply go in and you type in chairs. Okay. All right, see how that works? Okay. So come up with 3 more. All right. I'll let you think of other 2. If you have employees and you need to pay them, well, that could be one. All right. So add 3 new categories. And let's go on to number 2. Determine estimated expenses for all of the operating expenses, including the 3 new ones that you created. All right, so you get to pick how much you're going to assign to each operating expense estimated category. However, here's the catch. You can't just put in any number that you want because you've got a budget that you're working with. You don't want to go over a certain number down here for total operating expenses. Okay, you don't want to do that. Okay, because that would be counterproductive. All right, you want to stay with it, with what's in your budget. And let me, I'm going to expand that just a little bit. There we go. Okay, all right. So it says up here that your new operating budget for the second week has increased $160 from the first week. So what is your total new operating expense budget for the second week? Okay. There we go. I'll get the zoom right. All right. So what is your new operating expense budget for the second week? Well, let's simply go back here. We're going to go to week 1. And we're going to see that, that our budget was $500. So week 2, what would you put in that space right there? You're going to increase your week 1 budget by $160. Well, that should easily tell you something. Okay? So that, whatever that number is, that's going to be your maximum budget. So all these expense categories here, okay, are going to be how much you're going to choose for each category, but it cannot exceed the number down here, your total operating estimate budget. Okay? All right, so, and I'll just show you really quick. I can put in numbers here, all right, and actual, let's say if actual was 89, all right, it automatically calculates that I went over budget by $22. Over means parentheses, all right? It means that I've got to take out $22 from some other place, okay, to try to stick within budget, okay? So let's get rid of these numbers, okay? And you're going to want to do this for each category all the way down here, okay? You're going to come up with all kinds of numbers, but it cannot exceed your total operating expense. You should, all right? Give you a hint. 500 plus 160 is what? Okay. Let's keep going. Number 3, your actual expenses for each category with the new estimated values have increased 20% for each operating expense. Put the increased actual expense into each cell in the actual column. Okay? So all you're doing here is taking 20% increase of all the numbers here. So let's suppose my estimated budget is 110 for advertising. Okay, so, well, let's use our quick formula. 10% of 110 is going to be how much? You got it. It's going to be 11. Move the decimal point over to the left 1 space. All right, so take 11 times 2. Don't forget to multiply it. Don't forget to double it, because it says increase 20% over here. Okay, so it's going to be 22. All right, 20% of 110 is 22. add it to the 110, and you should come up with 122. Okay, or excuse me, 132. 132. There we go. Okay. All right, and so we went over budget by $22. All right, and I want you to do this for all of your estimated budget categories here. Increase each one by 20% to come up with your actual figures here. Let's do another one. Number for stand. Let's suppose I spend $80. Okay, $80. 20% of 80. Well, what's 10% of 80? 10% is 8 by moving the decimal over, and multiplying it by 2 gives me 16. 8 times 2 is 16, and add it to 80. 80 plus 16 gives me 96. Okay. Oh, went over budget again. All right. All right. So, and if you scroll down, you can see. Okay, you can see. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. I'm just doing something really quick, make sure this is working. I think this spreadsheet has a bug in it, but okay, 130. All right, cool. All right, so it works. Oh, here's a bit of advice, guys. Don't really mess with these. Don't delete any of these, any of this column, okay? Because it would really mess up the spreadsheet. You only really want to be messing with your categories here. Don't mess with these. Don't mess with the cells down here, and don't mess with these up here. All right, because if you delete them, you're not going to know how to get the spreadsheet to calculate the difference. All right, so very important. Don't mess with those. Okay. All right, so let's keep going down. So after you increase the actual expenses by 20% in this column for each operating expense category, how has this affected the difference in the difference column? Okay. All right. And what I mean by that is, how has this affected the difference in the difference column? Do all of your expense categories are all in the red down here, or do you have some that are positive and some that are negative, or do you have all of them that are positive? Okay, that's kind of what I want you to answer. I'm not asking you to figure out actual difference numbers. I just want to know, like, how does this column look like after you put in all your numbers? Like, for example, here, all of these have a mixture. Some are positive and some are negative. Okay, or if you had like maybe one or two negative that are in the red, you can simply say most of my I came in under budget for all of my categories except for one, which was in the red. Okay, let's keep going. All right, comparing the total. So basically here's that question: which categories have a positive value and which categories have a negative value in the difference column? All right, comparing the total operating expenses for week 1 and 2. What was the total difference between the operating expenses for both weeks? Okay. What was the total difference between the operating actual, okay, actual, okay, I should have emphasized that. Actual expenses for both weeks. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to come back down here, look at week 1, and see, oh, okay, in week 1, I spent $548. I went over budget by $48. So then I look at week 2, okay, and let's suppose I went over budget. Let's see, let's make this, this is just, don't pay attention to this when you're doing up here. Okay, let's make this, hold on. Okay, estimated actual 389. Okay. Let's suppose this week my actual was 389, but I compared it to week 1. All right, week 1 actual budget is 548 for week 1. Week 2 is 389. All right, so you're going to take 548. All right, subtract it. Okay, subtract it from week 2, which is 389. And you'll come up with a number there. Actually, whatever 549 minus 389 is. Okay, so basically what I'm looking for is, did you spend, let's make it simple, did you spend more or less, your actual spending, was it more or less in the second week versus the first week? Did you spend more in week 1? Was this number higher than week 2? Or in week 2, was week 2 higher than week 1? That's what I'm looking for. Okay? All right. And let's keep going. Okay. All right. Last part of the exercise. You're going to create a budget for week 3. Copy and paste the spreadsheet from week 2 onto week 3. Week 3 should be an exact duplicate from week 2. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay? You're going to go over here, take week 1, okay, take week 1, and you're going to go up to this little triangle right up here. Okay? See where my cursor is? Go find that little gray triangle. Click on it and see how it totally explodes the whole spreadsheet and the directions. Now you're going to right click, okay, on my laptop here. This is where I can right click it. All right. Oops. Sorry, it didn't work. All right, let's go back. All right. Go anywhere in the spreadsheet and right click, and you should bring up this little window. You're going to select copy, all right? And if you look closely, you'll see this whole spreadsheet is kind of highlighted, all right? Now you're going to click on New Sheet, all right? And down here, it's going to be sheet, it says Sheet 5. Once again, okay? Once again, let me get rid of that, okay? Week 1. Once again, actually, let's do this. Okay, down here where it says that, see that little plus sign? Click on New Sheet. Okay, and it says Sheet 6. Well, we don't want Sheet 6. We want week number 3. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to rename that to, and go right in here. And type in week 3. Hit return and brings it up. Now let me show you again how I did that. Click on the plus for new sheet. All right. Now this should highlight a new tab and it says sheet 7. Right click, right click sheet 7, and then you're going to have an option here to rename it. It's third one down. Hit rename, and then you'll type in week 3. Okay, so let's do the, now I'm going to delete the spreadsheet. Okay, all right, so now I want to move to end. Okay, now don't worry about this. I'm just simply moving week 3 to the end of my line here. So if you can't figure out how to do it, don't worry about it. I just want to make sure that you've got 3 weeks, week 1, week 2, and week 3. All right, and I'm just simply moving this towards the end. Okay, so I got week 1, week 2, week 3. Okay, all right, so let's go back to week 1, select our triangle. Okay, select the triangle. It's highlighted. Right click, copy, go over to week 3. Yeah, make sure that you create the new tab first, okay, before you copy the spreadsheet. Go to the first cell, right click, then go down here and select paste. All right, and as you can see, the spreadsheet is already going to copy over. Bam. So look what I did here. I created this whole spreadsheet into 3 different weeks. Okay, now keep in mind that this information here is all information that is part of week 1. So what you want to do is you don't want to mess with these boxes here, because if you notice here, the actual formula to calculate your numbers is up here. So you don't want to mess with these cells, as I mentioned earlier. So let's go all the way up here and delete these numbers. Okay, all right, and then you're just going to finish the rest of the assignment, okay, by looking at the following steps. All right, so you created a budget for week 3, copy and paste the spreadsheet from week 2 onto week 3. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a correction. You want to copy your work from week 2 into week 3. I'm sorry. All right, alert, you do not want week 1 copied, you want week 2 copied. All right, so after you get all these figures here, sorry about that, guys, I lost my head. After you get all these figures here and answer these questions, you're going to want to copy. Okay, you got the week 3 there. Okay, so let's do this again. I can go up here, highlight the whole spreadsheet. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to start again. I'm going to delete week 3. Okay, delete week 3. And then I'm going to add another sheet. It says sheet 8 down there. I'm going to rename to week 3. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to week 2. Go to the little triangle up here in the left-hand corner. Highlight the whole cell. Right click. It didn't work. Okay. Right click to bring up this window. How come it's not working? Let's try it again. Right click, copy. All right. After you get all these numbers in here, you're going to copy, and then you're going to go to week 3, go up there. All right, to paste it, you have to be in the top left corner. Okay, the top left corner of your spreadsheet. Okay, hit paste, and then boom, you've got a new spreadsheet here. Okay, alrighty. So let's see. And there you go. And all your numbers should copy over to the next one. Okay? All right. Let's see. Okay. And then you could just click on, you could just highlight any cell to get rid of the gray there. Okay? All right. So, and then you're going to go down and you're just going to do basically the same thing. Okay? Except this time you're going to decrease your estimated budget by 10%. Okay? Sorry, that should not be estimated. That should be actual. Okay? Decrease your actual budget by 10%. All right? So what that means is you're going to keep all your numbers from week 2, your estimated budget, the same. You're going to keep all the numbers here in the estimated column the same, but you're going to now decrease each actual by 10%. Okay? All right. That's about it. If you have any trouble with these, please let me know. This will be due next week, and we'll go from there. Okay? If you have trouble getting to, if week 3, if the copy and pasting of the spreadsheet gives you a hard time, don't worry about it for now. Okay? But I want you to get as far as you can with this as possible. But I do expect you to at least go up to step number 5. Okay? So for now, do step 5 up to step 5. If you can go further, then that'll save you work from next week, which will be part of the assignment. So that way you don't have to worry about it. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off. Have a great day, and I'm going to be around tomorrow morning from 8:30 to 11:30 to help you guys with this, okay? All right. Or pretty much all day tomorrow as well. All right. Take care.